Modi Okpebholo was elected the 6th governor of Edo State on the platform of the APC after the Independent National Electoral Commission declared him winner of the 21st of September 2024 governorship election. Though fiercely contested, his victory was upheld at the tribunal, sustained by the Court of Appeal and finally affirmed by the Supreme Court. Receiving Omosede Igbinedion, the governor says the outcome of the by-election once again demonstrates the overwhelming support of Edo people for the APC and further validates the legitimacy of his administration mandate.
When they were crying, they've stolen their mandate, the people were waiting. One day, they will let you know you didn't have mandate at all, which is exactly the reflection of this election. I'm telling you, by the grace of God, Edo is APC, and we love Asiwaju. Our promise of 2.5 million votes must complete. We are serious about it. We will not sleep. We'll continue to work hard to achieve our goal.
For the Deputy Governor, Dennis Idahosa, the visit was an opportunity to formally present his successor to the governor.
In the Ovia Federal Constituency, my successor. So I'm here to present her to you this morning, to also thank you for showing a purposeful leadership, a very lovely, supportive mechanism of Edo people, and Ovia people has asked me to thank you on their behalf.
On her part, the member elected Omosede Igbinedion expressed gratitude to the governor for his support, pledging to leverage her experience to deliver effective representation for the people of Ovia Federal Constituency.
And I want to promise the party, the state, and my constituents that I will certainly not let them down, and I will do my utmost best to represent the people of Ovia Federal Constituency.
With the by-election victory, the All Progressive Congress has further consolidated its hold in Edo State, an outcome the governor insists reflects the trust, confidence, and love of the people for his party. Valentine Osumbo, TVC News, Benin.
Okay, so there you are, Mr. Mwanta. That's what you were talking about. Those are some of the victors. On to other things happening in Edo State. You know, Edo State politics are centralizing that. There's this whole matter, is there not? There's the matter of new commissioners in order to form a cabinet. Mr. Mwanta, are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
Talk to me about the 13 commissioners, please, that are coming on.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. In between, the governor had appointed 8 commissioners, along with the number of advisors that the House of Assembly approved for him. And, the politics that brought him into power, was a combination of those who moved from PDP before the election into the APC and other political players. And as such, there was need to accommodate across the TVC senatorial districts the various interests. So it was just recently some of the issues that we had across the various local governments were resolved. And of course, the governor was now able to send the list in batches of 13 commissioner nominees. When you add that to the existing 8, so we have about 22 so far. The Constitution makes it mandatory for each local government to have a commissioner in ESCO. And as such, Edo having 18 local governments, so we are now almost having a complete spread across the various local governments in Edo State. But what I find very interesting is the quality of persons that have been nominated by the governor. We have the likes of Kasim Afegwa, a public affairs analyst, and a journalist of great repute as one of the nominees. We have a very senior lawyer, Professor Roland Otaru SAN, as one of the nominees. Then we have a former Algon national president, Honorable Felix Akagwe, amongst other persons. So having these persons come into government as civil commissioners will help to further expand the scope of performance of Senator Mono Mevolo, who is in a hurry to deliver the dividends of democracy to all Edo people, irrespective of their political affiliation, religious background, and what have you. Because that is the beauty of democracy. For those in government to serve the people to the best of their ability. And you find that so far the governor, even without the full complement of his cabinet, has done what others could not do. First, we have political stability in Edo. The governor works very closely with parliament without any form of chaos, as we saw in the previous administration. You know, respect for traditional institutions, respect for religious leaders, respect for elders. You know, there's security in our states. This issue of cultism and kidnapping, you know, have been given a death knell. You know, just recently, the head of a cult group, his hideout was discovered, and the place was, you know, deactivated, you know, by the Edo Security Force, along with the police and other, you know, security personnel. So gradually, our state is becoming safe, and that's the only way you can drive development. Because without security, you cannot be talking of investments, you cannot be talking of development. So this is one governor that has performed so well. So with this new team joining cabinet, we expect more performance, we expect more results, and I know people will be better for it.
Indeed. If some of the names in there are anything to go by, highly experienced statesmen themselves that, you know, are being, you know, suggested by the governor, have been sent to the State House of Assembly. But how is it working? Is it that let's get confirmation from the House of Assembly first, later on we shall attach the office to any of these commissioners? Is that the way it's working, or do you already know some of the offices that are meant for some of the names, notable names that have been mentioned?
Yeah, very good question. I didn't add that of the 13 persons, 8 of them have been confirmed by the House of Assembly after going through the process of screening. I think the balance 5, the process has started today, and hopefully before midweek, the process will be complete. And I think it is on the day of the inauguration, the portfolios will be assigned. Unlike when the governor came in, before forwarding the names, he assigned portfolios to 2. I mean, it's a matter of style, but I think for the others that were appointed, it was subsequently their portfolios were assigned. But people can easily hazard a guess in view of people's areas of specialization. Because this is one government that places square pegs in square hole or round pegs in round holes. The rest assured that, you know, portfolios will be, you know, given along with track record, and so that such persons will be fit for purpose.
Well, exactly, at the end of the day. But then again, if you were to look at some of the appointments that Mr. President made when his own time to choose his ministers, there were speculations based on what we're talking about, people thinking that they knew certain people and knew where their likely stations would be, only for the results to come out and Mr. President's preferences to come out, just to find out that, hey, these people are not there. For instance, Prince Afebua, for instance, there are a lot of people that would think that that man is going to be in communications area, that whole communicating the policy of the government. But you can never tell. You can never tell.
You never know.
Yeah, exactly.
Because having a person like Dele Aleke, that was one time a commissioner for information and strategy in Lagos, now heading mines, a ministry of, I think, solid minerals.
It shows that
because that's one area that is untapped. So the president's wisdom cannot be challenged in that area, because if you ask me, he has performed very well, creditably, in reviving that, you know, ministry and that sector, the mining sector.
Because as you also were indicating,
because we now talk of energy transitions, we now talk of this issue of, you know, solid minerals, and I think he has been able to show capacity. And I believe that in Edo, most of the persons that have been brought on board are people of not just good capacity, but they are tested and tried. So the guess game continues. As for Afegwa, I'll keep my seed lips until when the governor makes his own assignments or portfolios.
Indeed. I think Mazi Okorafor has come on the line.
Afegwa is my very good friend, and you agree with me that his engagement on TV, both as a former commissioner for information in Edo and as a public affairs analyst, top notch.
Indeed. Is Mazi Okorafor? Good morning.
They should look into this issue of kidnapping, because people coming to they will pass out from that about Abuja through Awusi, they do state. It's always a problem. Even if you are going to we throw that side. So they should find people to say you are going to go to Onitsha, you must throw that side. They should do the needful. Because the kidnapping rate is getting out of proportion. Because I don't know what it is. Because I know it's not only a state, it's everywhere. But it is not good for one when you leave Abuja, you are going to your place, or you are passing through to another place. You start having, maybe you are coming from Onitsha, you are going to Lagos, Benin on the Lagos road. You still having all these problems, people running, it's a kidnapping on the road. It's not healthy. I agree that it's everywhere. But the thing is that let there be all these vigilantes, which the government has said, it should do the news. I'm not even talking about state police because what happened in Anambra last week now with the copper and the vigilante, just encourage everybody about the vigilante because nobody is trusting them. If for example, they will tell us that to buy drone is expensive, even though to buy drone is expensive. If you look at what happened in Ukraine and Russia, see, even when Iran went to Israel, you see they say 300 or something drones. So I just should not talk about to buy one drone that is expensive. Then the government use the tax the local government authorities. Give them their response, give them resources. Let them tackle all this local kidnapping, whether international or state. The earlier they do the better because peace is very, very good. The government is when you have security. Good morning. The government is fine. Kudos to his government. And all these commissioners say they have done appointments. They should do the needful. When they give you job, do the 24-hour service to satisfy the principal that gave the job. Good morning. Have a blessed day.
Thank you very much. Okay, Andrew, what do you say to that? You've spoken about things are getting better, security is improving, but that viewer there is picking up on that and saying that, look, he's still a bit apprehensive about the state of security, indeed, specifically kidnapping in Edo State. I don't know if you agree with that assessment or not.
Yeah, I think what my friend Mazi Okorafor has said is not very far from what we have in reality because it's a national problem. Even reference what recently happened in Anambra, which I in the sister station condemned, because I feel we should bring in empathy into law enforcement, particularly for those persons who are not traditionally members of either our national police or other security agencies. So in Edo, what we are doing differently is that before you are engaged as a vigilante member, you go through rigorous training, and that training will also include profiling these individuals, trying to know their track records, trying to ensure that they have some level of formal education, and a background check generally is done because we had our own experience, and that provided a learning curve for the state government and the security agencies we work with as partners. But if you ask me, so far so good, we've been able to deal with the issue of kidnapping headlong. You know that Edo is at the middle of Nigeria. If you are going to the south from the north, you go to Edo. You are going to the east from the north, you go to Edo. So Edo is at the middle of Nigeria. And so because of that, there's bound to be this problem associated with insecurity, particularly when you look at first portions of the federal road, with this present governor, along with the commitment of the federal government, has fixed and is still in the process of fixing. Because the reason why we have kidnappers stay in the forest is when they know that there's a breaks down or slows down, they use that as an opportunity. And the governor too has provided hundreds of bikes to have local vigilantes to comb our forests. Even this Fulani herdsmen problem.
Motorcycles, that
the
is.
Livestock.
You said bikes,
was
but
recently set up.
I'm sure you mean.
By General.
I'm sure you mean motorcycles.
So a whole lot is happening.
Okay, I'm sure you mean motorcycles, not bikes, not bicycles.
Motorcycles, sorry, not just bikes.
Motorcycles.
Motorcycles.
Exactly.
The type security personnel use. Yeah.
Okay. George has been waiting to join the program. Good morning, Mr. George.
Hello, Uncle Yori, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, good morning, and good morning to your guest.
Yes, thank you.
Uncle Yori, the by-election, to start with, the by-elections that took place last week, indeed, is a referendum on Mr. President. I took a second look at it over the weekend and discovered that the elections were held in the north, in the east, in the south, and in the west, the four cardinal areas of the country. The President's Party won in 13 out of the 16 seats being contested for, 13 out of 16, including states that are being controlled by opposition parties. For example, Taraba State, that is a key PDP state, the APC won there. Adamawa State, the home state of Atiku Abubakar, being governed by the PDP, the APC won there. Now, if that is anything to go by, it is an indication of what is to come in 2027. It tells me that the real Nigerians, they appreciate what Mr. President is trying to do to reset this country. He has gone to several countries in the quest to make sure our economy is strong, to make sure that Nigeria takes its rightful place in the community of nations, and our economy has been reset. We are only now trying to grow it. Uncle Yori, last week I heard that the federal government and the state and local government shared 2 trillion naira in August. 2 trillion. Before Tinubu came to power, the highest that had been shared as fact is 550 billion. I recollect that vividly. Now, 2 trillion within 2 years that it came in. Even a blind person can see that this man is trying his best and he knows the way and he is following it. I am very convinced that we will get there someday.
Indeed.
The pains are there, but they are ameliorating now, gently. Nothing is rising. If anything, things have started to go down, down, and down. And it is normally gradual like that in any economy. For Edo State, I was excited to hear Prince Kasim Asegwa is among the commissioners. He is our friend on this program.
Yes.
And I'm very, very sure of his capacity. I saw the list. The government is very deliberate on who is speaking because he wants to perform and he doesn't want excuses. Let him keep it up, and we wish him all the strength.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Mr. George. Well, there you have it, Mr. Andrew Mwanta. There are those who are watching Edo State and are happy with what is going on, especially that aspect of, the...
I agree less with Mr. George. And his assessments, if you ask me, of the president's performance, top-notch. Because if you look at the student loan across the various states, we have many indigent students who could not afford university education that now have hope. Not just university education, tertiary education. And the good part about it is that it gives them the opportunity of paying in the future, when they now start working. And I think this one president that has brought succor to Nigerians across boards, the economy has improved very greatly because the funds that state used to get have increased, has tripled, or even quadrupled. The performance of our governor is tied to the quality of allocations, increased allocations we get from the federation account. And we have the president to thank for that. When he removed subsidy, people thought it was the end of the world. But you see, fuel prices are coming down and states now have more funds. Even local government autonomy, which was introduced by him, has also helped local government chairmen to carry out certain projects that will affect the people at the grassroots level. So the performance of the APC in the last election is a true reflection, just as George said, and as I said previously, a referendum to test the performance of the Tinubu administration and the APC as the party ruling in some states of the federation, and of course, Edo being one of them. So it was a referendum, and it's a reflection of what will happen in 2027. We are very sure that the president will win his re-election in 2027, and I think he's performing even more. He was in Brazil, was in Japan, negotiating deals that will bring development to our country, that will improve our power sector and other sectors of our economy. So kudos to our president, and Nigerians will show reward for his performance come 2027.
Okay, indeed. Recently, is when we had Edo in focus, the news then was on the infrastructure front, and talking particularly about dilapidated schools, structures, buildings that could not even be called schools. And that, I think, was some weeks ago. My thinking is that by now, has that process, is it still ongoing, or has it been completed, where we were shown, we were shown videos, evidence of rehabilitation of schools? So now, and that was done, I think, before the governor had commissioners. Now there will be there will be some commissioners, maybe education, maybe works, who are going to be directly in charge. So if it hasn't been completed, those projects can only be accelerated.
Yeah, can you hear me, Yuri?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, I think if I get you right,
Yes.
Your question is that some of the schools that are that were dilapidated, that were in the process of being constructed. Your
yes.
question is, how many of the schools
being refurbished?
Completed?
Yes. Is the work still in? Is it still in progress? Is the focus still very, very sharp on that particular?
Yeah, in some areas, some of these schools have been delivered already. In some other areas, it's still work in progress. And even beyond that, what the governor did was to negotiate with the missions. And the idea is to hand over some of these schools back to the missions because of the moral aspect of their education and the ability to coordinate along that line. Because I attended a mission school many years ago, in the early 80s, and I know the importance of being trained under a mission environment, in terms of quality and in terms of having a good management team to run our educational institutions at that primary level and even secondary level. Because the schools I attended, virtually all of them were run by the Catholic Church before governor took over those schools. So what the governor is doing is trying to have that partnership. And before you even hand over those schools, the governor is trying to put them in very good states of infrastructural repair in the manner that the standards can be retained by those taking over those schools.
Okay.
The Commissioner for Education recently introduced, with ESCO backing, some policies, namely for siblings in the same school, because in the past, if you have two children in primary one, he would not be allowed to use a sibling textbook. So the idea that you having two children, they can reuse textbook.
Okay. Okay.
So parents are very happy about that policy. And this indiscriminate practice of having graduation parties for those in kindergarten, in primary school.
Yes.
And these children now trying to do things that adults do. So that ban will also bring back sanity to our schools.
It's actually banned in Edo State now.
More than on parents. Private school proprietors, impose very huge, levies on parents in the name of graduation.
Okay. Now, Elder Chima Eke, Elder Chima Eke in River State is waiting to join the program. I beg your pardon. Elder Chima Eke. Elder Chima Eke. Good morning, sir. Can you hear us? Elder Chima Eke. Okay. Sorry. As you were speaking, Elder Chima Eke had called in, so we thought we could, actually managed not to lose him, but in the event, we did lose him. But I also heard what you had said as well. So definitely, it looks like...
recently passed by the Ministry of Education through the Office of the Commissioner is meant to promote educational excellence and not the economic interest of organizing graduation parties for those in nursery and primary school. So it is when you finish your basic education, you are going to senior secondary, that you can even talk of graduating from one level of education to another. Then when you are now leaving the secondary education, when you finish your work, you can have such events. But of course, such events will also be regulated, not to allow any form of deviant behavior or social vices
it was
from an event that should be solemn and honorable.
Yes. It was becoming something of an outrage, but thank God that Edo State has sort of dimmed its eyes at that whole practice. Also waiting to join us now is Olatoye Durosimi, AIG retired. Good morning to you, sir. Mr. Durosimi, good morning. Can you hear us?
Good morning, Uncle Lori. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Good morning. Please go ahead now.
Yeah,
we can
good
hear
morning.
you.
The Edo State governor is an example of a silent speaker but a loud performer. He's more or less like it is not the night that makes the music, but it's the quality of the music we are playing. He has done that by revitalizing the Edo transport line, which so some people are dead, but he has brought it to life. It's one of the pride of Edo State. He has done that in terms of infrastructural development. Some rural areas who are not able to get to town or with the agricultural product, he has been able to make that possible. That's an achievement. And scoring very well in the election is a reward for the performance of the governor. But I want the governor to look into Edo breweries, whether it's still there. You can still bring it back. That's a great job for so many Edolites who are not having the job for now. And another achievement you can see, area it has one of the richest land, fertile land I can talk about. And if we work on agriculture, definitely we're better off. It's a beautiful place to work. And at the same time, security. It needs to work on the security in conjunction with the Commissioner of Police of Edo State to ensure that people who are passing through Edo State, it's like a gateway state. People going to the east, going to the north are passing through that place. And sure, by the time we work together with the Commissioner of Police, security will be top brass. He has done well. The 2.5 million food he actually promised the president is loading. That is my take.
Thank you very much, Mr. Olatoye Durosimi, AIG retired. Appreciate your calling in. Andrew, as he was saying there, many people, well, depending on your age, many people will remember, was it Bendel Line, which has now metamorphosed, and today we're talking about the Edo Line. At least there's an heritage there. Go ahead, comment on the, the submission of that viewer.
Yeah, thank you. I must commend Durosimi for what he said about what the governor has done so far, the area of security, bringing back Edo Line, one of those legacies of Ogbomodia and Ambrose Ali when they were in government.
That's right.
You asked if I was, around during, of course, I had entered those big Bender Line buses.
Yeah, no, agree me, ask
from the city at their parking in SWAT when I was in secondary school.
Okay,
the time I even slept in the bus to show how professional they were.
That's right.
At the end of Edo and brought me back to my secondary school then in Ekpoma. I was in the boarding house.
Wow.
So, I mean, these were legacies we had that this governor is bringing back. The good news for Durosimi and other Nigerians is that the governor is planning to also bring back Bender Breweries, but of course it will now be known as Edo Breweries. So work on that has started. And I think that will be the work of the new commissioner that will be in charge of commerce and industry, because the governor already has a master plan of bringing back, Bender Breweries. It was a promise he made, and he has the capacity from what he has done with Edo Line of bringing Bender Breweries, which will now be known as Edo Breweries, back. And in the area of agriculture,
yes,
the governor has done so well in providing new farm settlements that will allow local farm owners and farm holders to be part of agriculture that will be funded by government. A whole lot of mechanized equipment has been purchased, and the government has started distributing this equipment along with other inputs like fertilizers and the rest to local farmers. Compare this with what Obaseki did. Obaseki did big bang agriculture, brought his friends from Lagos, gave them land. Most of them did not use the land, but most of them were keeping this land to use them as estates, housing estates in the future. But when the governor came on board, he now said he wants to bring back agriculture in the real sense of the word. So he has his back to land policy of allowing local farm owners, farm holders to be part of agriculture. Then for the private sector, those in manufacturing and processing of food, they now come to take this farm produce. And I think in the next 1 year, most of the farms, would have been, harvesting their crops. And I think the media will not be in its searchlight to see what the government is doing with agriculture.
Indeed.
Just to achieve food sufficiency.
There's also, we don't have the time, but I'm sure that there's also work ongoing on accommodation. That's across the country, it's an issue. But I'm sure there must be plans in the works for that as well by the governor. Okay, it seems like you didn't hear that, and we've run out of time, so I won't bother to repeat the question because my fear that even if you were to take the question on, we wouldn't even have the time to absorb all that you would be saying. But let me just say, one, apologize to you that we had our technical issues which ate into the program. But I want to thank you very much, Andrew Mwanta, for coming on the program and cluing us in on developments, especially focusing on the politics in Edo State. Thank you once again for coming on. Appreciate it. Okay, we're going to have to leave it there. Do please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Iyori Folare. Bye-bye for now.